Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you'll be listening to a hypnosis session for a executive, a high-flying professional that wanted to tap into a feeling of them at their most resourceful. And in the conversation that led up to the hypnosis session, it was evident that when they were at their most resourceful, there were two key things that were aligned. The first is that they were able to get themselves into a do whatever it takes mentality. And the second is that they were willing to do whatever it takes because they were thinking about the needs of their client and they were prioritizing those needs over everything else. And in fact, the client shared a story of how willing they were to put the needs of their client above their own needs, because they shared a story of a time where they were having a haircut in a salon in central London, in the city of London. And mid-haircut, their client had an urgent issue that needed resolving. So they walked out of their haircut midway through to put the needs of their client first. Now, one of the underlying principles of beliefs are that the way that you test a belief is not intellectually, it's behaviorally. And you get different levels, almost intensities of a belief. And the highest level of belief is going to be a conviction. So there's this phrase, do you have the courage of your convictions? Are you willing to do something that aligns with your belief system? And that's why in religions, it's those that, the big martyrs, for example, they were willing to die for their beliefs. So that's at the extremity. This client was willing to walk out midway through a haircut because they were willing to put the needs of their client ahead of their own needs, which tells me that in that moment in time, they were able to access this do whatever it takes mentality. So you're going to hear in this hypnosis session an element of regression to a time that they had that resourceful feeling, but also a series of suggestions that gets them thinking about this kind of obsessive, dedicated, dutiful way of thinking. But also it was really important to mitigate the downside. And the downside of obsession is that it leads people to have an unbalanced life. So what you'll hear also in this session is that we're making it a healthy obsession by introducing boundaries and parameters so that this client could be obsessed when it was useful to be obsessed and not need to be obsessed when it wasn't. And that's really important because otherwise it can lead to burnout and it can lead at winning in career but losing in life, which actually in the big scheme of things is losing, in career and life. So it's important that these things are there. There's also a metaphor of apex predators, and in certain environments you get a species that is the apex predator of their particular environment. And one of the humans naturally are apex predators, but you get different hierarchies, different kind of environments. But the key thing is to tap into that instinctive, intuitive belief that we would have that, the alpha lion in a pride or the alpha wolf in a pack probably isn't going to worry too much because they have the confidence of their convictions that their resources exceed whatever demands are around. So there's a few things happening in here, but the whole purpose of this is to enable the client that I was working with to reactivate that hyper resourceful state. If you're listening to this and you would benefit from being more resourceful, perhaps for your career or business or whatever it might be, I've worked with C-suite level individuals all over the world to get them in that mindset where at that level, what's perceived to be fairly small differences can have big ripple effects. So if that's something you're curious about, then there will be a link in the show notes to schedule a free consultation call to explore working with me. For now, though, you might find that although this was created for a very specific individual with a very specific anecdote, it still may be helpful to unlock feelings of a healthy obsession within you, whatever your goal and whatever your intentions are. So find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in, connect to a feeling of resourcefulness. And as you exhale, just allow feelings of stress or tension to leave your body in your outward breath. As you breathe in and breathe out, notice that with your eyes closed, you're able to focus on the sound of my voice, but also on the rhythm of your breathing. That as you breathe in and breathe out, notice that when you slow that down and shift the location of your breath, not from your throat or chest, but all the way down into your diaphragm, I want you to connect with a feeling of power, a sense of inner strength, that by activating that diaphragm, that is the only way you can breathe when you're breathing in a powerful way. I want you to think of the most powerful animals in the animal kingdom. Huge gorilla, magnificent lion. They're not breathing in a shallow way from their chest. They're breathing deep down in their diaphragm because they know they have immense power. So breathe in from that diaphragm, and as you exhale, give yourself permission to let go of anything that's been holding you back. Not just tension or stress, but beliefs, fears, and worries. All of these what-if questions have a presupposition that you can't handle the future. I want you to think of the alpha lion in the pride. They're not sat there on the plain worrying about, what if I can't catch that gazelle? There is a sense of absolute conviction that they have the resources to do whatever needs to be done. So therefore, any inner dialogue that has a presupposition that you won't be successful is not necessary, and in fact is holding you back. So as you breathe in and breathe out, activate a sense of conviction in that inner dialogue, a sense of certainty, absolute inner belief that you have the resources to operate at the level you desire, and you can trust yourself that when the circumstances are such, you can do whatever needs to be done. So as you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to go all the way back to a time, perhaps in a salon, just around the corner from St. Paul's Cathedral. Imagine perhaps that cape wrapped around your neck, that hydraulic barber's chair. Maybe you can recall the ambience of the salon. Maybe see the reflection of you in the mirror. And I want you to connect with who you were back then. Maybe you can call it formidable. Maybe you can call it obsessed, relentless, intense. But as you look at yourself in that salon mirror, remind yourself this is who you really are. And you can take a lion and put it in a zoo, but a lion is still a lion. The lack of hunting opportunities doesn't make the lion any less formidable. It just means it's had less opportunity to practice those skills it knows so well. And I want you to remind yourself, you are the apex predator. You have the resources to do what needs to be done. And then I want you to recall, perhaps receiving some kind of message, maybe text message, phone call, email. Something needs to be done. And the fact that you're halfway through a haircut means nothing, because you will do whatever it takes. And I want you to notice that in a dialogue, there is no question, there is no upward inflection. Maybe I should just finish this haircut before I go. It was decisive. I have to leave. Remember how you felt paying for that haircut, even though it was only half finished. And then, at a solid pace, returning back to the place of work. And I want you to imagine walking through the streets of the City of London as your mind is open to powerful suggestions to reconnect you with who you really are. Breathe in and breathe out, and as you relax deeply, feel the spark of passion for your work ignite within you, radiating through every cell of your being. Get a sense that it's your nature to be fully committed to your career, eagerly embracing each day with renewed enthusiasm and motivation. As you imagine walking through the streets of London back to your office, visualize yourself exceeding your clients' expectations effortlessly, delighting them with your exceptional skills and dedication. And the fact that you were willing to leave that haircut, put your clients' needs first, is just one of many examples of that dedication. Embrace a profound sense of duty towards your clients, understanding that their success is intertwined with your own. Allow your mind to create a harmonious balance between your professional and personal life. This isn't a zero-sum game. It doesn't have to be that in order for your work to win, your personal life suffers, I want you to accept the suggestion that this is more synergistic, that the increasing confidence and self-esteem you get from being successful at work enhances the lifestyle, the character, the energy that you bring into your home life too. I want you to tap into a deep sense of gratitude for the opportunities that your career brings, but also appreciating the impact you've had on the wider world. As you imagine walking back to that client in need, I want you to imagine a future, perhaps years into the future, perhaps even beyond the present now. And I want you to see yourself as a rainmaker in your field, effortlessly attracting success and abundance, creating a positive ripple effect. You can have rainmakers that bring in the business, and you can also have thought leaders. And I want you to see yourself as both. Someone that wins the business, but is seen as an authority, an expert, knowledgeable and connected in your field. Notice how your passion and commitment fuel your creativity, allowing innovative ideas to flow effortlessly. Perhaps you're just a few minutes away from returning to that client in need. But as you imagine walking through the streets, this is done from a sense of strength, not desperation. You're choosing to do this. This is a symbol of your duty. This is a symbol of your dedication. And this fuels a healthy obsession with your work. Breathe in and out again from the diaphragm, feeling a growing sense of confidence and self-belief, knowing that you are destined for greatness. Right now is a challenge, but embrace challenges as opportunities for growth, approaching them with unwavering determination and a positive mindset. Everyone needs a why, and I want you to get a sense that your why, your sense of purpose, is that feeling you get by exceeding the expectations of your client, by doing what needed to be done, by delivering. Tap into that feeling you get when you've delivered, when you've delighted a client. I want you to imagine that you are cultivating a laser-like focus on your goals. Almost feel the lasers leaving your eyes like a superhero, effortlessly maintaining your attention and staying on track towards achievement. But obsession needs boundaries. And I want you to imagine a future version of you where you are obsessed within parameters, that you're able to create healthy boundaries between your work and personal life, nurturing your relationships and finding joy in moments of relaxation. That being obsessed doesn't mean being obsessed all of the time. It means being obsessed within windows. And you decide the parameters, you decide the boundaries, and you can change them as you desire. You could be obsessed with your work, but you could also be obsessed with finding strength and health and vitality. You could be obsessed with your family. I want you to get a sense that these are different obsessions, tapping into different versions of you. But the different versions of you are enhanced when that alter ego, which is focused on work, obsessed with having an impact in that world, elevates all other versions of you. Notice how good it feels to let go of any self-doubt or limiting beliefs, replacing them with empowering thoughts that fuel your passion and commitment. There is not lack here. Tap into that mindset of abundance, knowing that there are endless opportunities for growth and prosperity, that every problem has multiple solutions, and you have confidence that you will find and implement those solutions. I want you to allow your subconscious mind, as you imagine arriving into your office towards this client need, allow your subconscious mind to integrate these suggestions deeply, supporting you in embodying your desired state of passion, commitment, and feeling a sense that you are driven. I want you to imagine that you resolve whatever the client issue was back then, and maybe later that day or a few days later you ended up going back to that same salon to finish the haircut. But you did what was needed when it was needed. As you find yourself back in that salon chair, you get a deep sense of pride that you are the person that does what is needed to be done. You can be relied on. You are a safe pair of hands. And what you did then was just evidence of your sense of dedication and duty. Tap into that wonderful feeling of pride and significance that you have. And then realize that the salon chair and the journey through the streets of London were just ideas within ideas, thoughts within thoughts, dreams within dreams, as you return to the present, feeling connected with that same sense of drive and obsession and dedication, and realizing that obsession is a hungry lion that needs to be fed daily. And I want you to think of ways in which you can feed your obsession. Your obsession needs challenges, deadlines, problems to solve, new things to learn, and you are unleashing an insatiable hunger to feed that obsession. Very soon I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, and as you awaken from this hypnotic session, you will feel a renewed sense of purpose and dedication, ready to feed your obsession, but also being willing to put parameters, to confine the hungry beast of obsession so it has no negative side effects. Take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, get a sense you're fully integrating into the present as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. I'm starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.